everybody, it's Mandy from Sumptuous Living. Thanks again for joining us for our Facebook Live. If you haven't already, make sure you hit like on our Facebook page and then head over to the website sumptuousliving.net and subscribe to the website so you don't miss a single recipe, a single cocktail, a single travel idea, all that fun stuff. And today, like I was talking about last week, I was picking up kids from camp, so I got a little bit of a week behind. But now I'm definitely going to go ahead and share with you how to easily make a cold brewed iced coffee in like 3 quick steps, the best thing ever. And I swear, it is like crack. You will have a vat of this all week long, and you are going to be so in love with this recipe. It is so good. To me, it is the perfect afternoon pick-me-up every single day, and especially in the hot summer months. It's just hard to have a cup of coffee in the afternoon. My mama was, she actually was the first person who taught me about iced coffee. She would always take the brew from earlier in the morning and pour it over ice and maybe put a little milk and sugar in it. But I love this. This is kind of like Mama 2.0 in a sense. So if you're watching, make sure you let me know where you're watching from. I have a handy dandy little thing so that me being so tall and so far away from the camera, I might be able to see where you're coming from. So we're getting better at this anyways. So let's start talking cold brew coffee. And the only 2 things that you necessarily really need to have is something called a Cambro. It's a big container, if you can see. And it's got markings on here. You can get them at like restaurant supply stores. I'm going to share with you a link. You can easily get them on Amazon, so I'm going to share a link that you can get it off of. But these big, huge 6-quart ones are like the perfect size. They are literally the perfect size. So, and they come in sets of 2 with lids, and guess what? How many you need? You need 2 with lids, so it's a good set. The other thing you're going to need is a big sieve. So just a screened strainer like that, and some cheesecloth, which they sell, you know, everywhere in every grocery store all over town. So anyways, this big cheesecloth. So how we make it, and this is going to be a very quick Facebook Live because there's not much to making this, but it is so yummy. I am a Louisiana girl, and I love Café Du Monde coffee. It's that coffee with that little bit of that chicory root in it. It's really deep and roasty and all that kind of stuff. If you can't find Café Du Monde at your local grocery store, Walmart tends to sometimes have it, so take a look there. You can also buy it on Amazon, and I'll put a link to that as well. But you can also use Pilon, which is a Latin espresso type of a coffee, and Estelo, I think it's called. Those 2 Latin coffees work really, really well too. So as long as it's ground, and this is a 15-ounce can, and I use the whole can. So it's a can, 24 hours, and you get such good coffee. So it's like so simple, you're like gonna love it. So all we do is take this coffee can, and you're going to pour the whole thing into your empty Cambro. And then you're going to fill it up to the 6-quart mark with water. That's it. Give it a little stir, put the lid on it, and stick it in the fridge for 24 hours. The 24 hours part is something you can't necessarily cheat on. That's what gives it that depth and that super delicious thickness that cold brew coffees are so amazing at. And then when you have done that for 24 hours, because I have tried it with the less timelines, and it did not work. So, and I'm checking out if you have any questions about cold brewing coffee or different coffee stuff, make sure that you go ahead and put comments in on the Facebook Live. I'm able to see it right over here, so I can see where you're calling from, where you're watching from, where you might have any kind of fun ideas, what you do with your coffee or what your favorite combination of coffee is, and any coffee cocktails especially, because we have met, we know I like coffee. Okay, I'm going to give it a quick last stir. So this coffee has been sitting here in this vat in my fridge on the top shelf, especially in my secondary fridge, and for 24 hours. And so now I'm going to go ahead and pour it over. And I like this square one because it has like that tapered edge and it pours easy. So you can see how dark and roasty it is already. And I just pour it through the cheesecloth, and that gets all, let me give it a minute to catch up, all the granules and all that kind of stuff from the coffee, the grounds. Oh, it smells so good already. So this is a nod to a Vietnamese coffee. I shared the recipe link in the Facebook Live thing today. And Vietnam was very French driven, so that's why a lot of them actually use, give it a wiggle to get it to go. They also use the Café Du Monde coffee. And if you go to like an international market and you go to the Vietnamese aisle, you'll literally see the Vietnamese coffee and you'll see the Café Du Monde coffee. They all love it. They use it a lot. So we're going to go ahead and keep pouring and get it all done. And I'll throw this cheesecloth away at the end. You could wash it out if you really wanted to. See all those granules. Can you see it? Look, all the grains are down at the bottom. It's a little gnarly, but okay, there we go. So those last few grains can just stay in the bottom of the thing. Don't put that down your garbage disposal. It'll be a hot mess. Just get it all out. Let it strain out. And then you can just toss it into your trash can. Or the acid from what I've read, a couple of things like my grandma used to always put them in her garden around, especially her azaleas and hydrangeas, because they really like the acid. So it like helps your garden too. So you can be very green and go ahead and deposit in there. All right, so we're pretty much done with that. I'm getting all of that coffee out because I'm not going to waste a single lick. If I have to wait 24 hours for something, I'm going to make sure I get all of it out. Okay, so then the only two left ingredients, if you just wanted straight, very lovely black coffee that was just straight up, you could totally just stop here and completely put this in the fridge, be done with it, and all that. But I'm going to take it one step further and make a Vietnamese iced coffee. And I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so that's done. And that'll go into the garden or into the trash in a second. Clean up the decks here. I got a little spillage. So, next what we're going to do is the only two other things that you need. So it's a can of Café Du Monde, a can of coconut milk, and a can of sweetened condensed milk. And that is all. So I'm going to put the coconut milk in, and I'm going to use a whisk to get all the lumps out. Don't worry. And then a can of the sweetened condensed milk. Look, so nice. We got a spoon. And this is going to make a batch that's going to last you all week long. And I'm going to show you exactly how I store it in the fridge in just a second, because it is so good. All right, I got our sweetened condensed milk. It is done. I'm going to take my whisk and whisk it up. And this part gets all of those goodies incorporated into the coffee really, really, really well. And if it's really lumpy, if maybe, one coconut milk might have a lot of solids in it, then I'll just run it through the strainer one last time when I'm pouring it into my jug, so that you don't want any chunkies. But I like the little bit of the coconut milk and what it brings to. You could just do sweetened condensed milk too, but I like the coconut milk in it too. You could also do almond milk. You could do, they have a coconut milk, almond milk combo. That would be really yummy. And then you could even take this and put it in a martini shaker with some ice and a little bit of vodka and have a delicious espresso martini. All right, so we are pretty much there. Just mixed it all up. That's it. End of story. That's all you have to do. So I have these handy little pictures, and I like them with, they cost like $4 or $5, something like that. They come with like a lid, so I like those because they go into my fridge that way. Now I'm going to pour it into the jug. And this will fill 2 of these lovely jugs, minus whatever I decide to drink that day. That one could use a little bit of strong, but that's it. Coffee, ice, is it's already plenty sweet. And it's going to go into my glass. Oh, yep, see, it needs to be strained. Let's do that. That's where we're going to go and fix it up because it definitely needs to be strained. Yeah, see, the solids from the coconut milk are... Renee, can you grab me another one of these pitchers here? Or actually, never mind, I'll just strain them into here. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to have her come and help me hold this part. Come hold this part. And we'll strain it up again. Let me rinse it out. Because that can have more coconut solids in than other cans have done before. Let's toss that one. All right, so hold that. There we go. Have your kids help you when you're straining it. There you go. Or your gorgeous culinary assistants, either way. Not that you're my kid. Because the coconut milk got all in there, but we just don't want those solids. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll do the same for the next batch. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make a new cup. I definitely want a nice, big, beautiful glass. There we go. Oh, so pretty! I need a straw. And that's it. A can of coconut milk, a can of sweetened condensed milk, a can of Café Du Monde coffee or your favorite super dark, roasty, toasty, ground coffee. Mmm. So good. Look. So yummy. Yay! So this is your perfect summer pick-me-up. I hope you guys have a great summer, and I'll see you next week. Make sure to like this, share it, and tell us how much you liked it when you make it yourself. 24 hours in the fridge, and you'll be in love. Promise. All right. Bye, baby.